So, speaking of autism,
I'm glad we've helped each other uncover
welcome to the one about
over the course
Godzilla
of this.
movies. If you're feeling left out, you can pay $1 a month, and you could have access to the full version of this. I don't know if we're gonna call it a finale episode, a momentous occasion. This episode, because it is at least. So you know how I must have ADHD as well. You know how when you're running a stopwatch on your phone or whatever, you can stop the stopwatch, or you get that button that says lap. This is a lap. That's what this is. This is a check a check mark. Checkpoint. You know, you're playing Mario Kart and you hit a
point.
Yeah, you know, it's like a marker point of like, hey, we started watching these movies. We got through all 37 that exist. Here we are. I've been saying too many things. And Caleb's waiting for me to stop.
I am not only am I listening to you and waiting for you to stop,
wondering if I'm going to acknowledge the hair.
Oh no! I'm scheduling a time to. I'm currently scheduling a time to go see Project Hail Mary with my friend Hosey.
Let's go.
I think we're gonna go tomorrow night. Anyways,
nice. That was the thing we talked about.
Yeah.
Just recently, earlier in this episode.
Yeah.
Great movie. Just saw it today.
Yeah. Shout out to Patreon. If you want Brian's reaction to the movie, if you want more of Brian's reaction to the movie, you can go to our Patreon. Did you mention the Patreon yet? I was texting. I wasn't listening.
I did mention our Patreon. It is also called The What About Godzilla Movies. And in short, I do recommend Project Hail Mary. Great movie. Wholeheartedly recommend it.
So let's talk about some other movies that we wholeheartedly recommend.
Oh, we should talk about Godzilla, eh?
Specifically some Godzilla ones. Yes.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
So, I mean, this episode is, this was kind of Brian's brainchild a little bit. He came to me with this idea and was like, hey, I want to do this thing. And I thought that was a great idea. So we're doing this like top 4-ish favorite movies. Brian's been calling it like the Mount Rushmore of Godzilla films.
Yeah, Letterboxd would call it Letterboxd top 4. They do a thing on YouTube. I don't know if you've ever seen it, where they have someone who works at Letterboxd at like red carpets, and they'll just ask actors, like, hey, what's your top 4? And they're like, oh, that's so hard. But then they just try to name like 4 movies they really love, and it's kind of cool to see what people are into.
Interesting.
But I think that's kind of what inspired it. So like the backstory, like a little bit is, I don't know, like a few months ago from this recording date specifically, it was like late 2025 as we were watching through the movies. I was like thinking about it, and I was like, man, if someone asked me like what my favorite Godzilla movies are, or what's one they would recommend, I feel like I'd want to have an answer. I was thinking about it, and I was like, maybe like a top 4 is like a way to go. So I was kind of trying to predict at that time what I thought my favorite 4 would be. Then I was thinking about like, I had this just idea about like, I wanted to make like some kind of like a video essay talking about, all right, we've watched all of them. What are my favorite 4? Let me tell you why I love these 4, why they're my favorite. And then I was thinking like, hey, maybe we could make an episode out of it. Maybe we could rewatch the 4 movies, get like a fresh look at them, and then kind of like talk through anything that stands out, kind of with a bit of a retrospective perspective. And then, you know, we expanded even further, like, okay, I pick 4. Caleb picks his own 4. Like, they don't have to be the same, right? So I'm bringing 4 to the table today, like my 4 favorites. And then do you have some that you like as well? So anyways.
Yes, sir.
What we want to do is, I kind of want to just like blaze through what the 4 are and kind of like describe them, why I love them, what they're like. And then Caleb will do the same, and then we can go a little deeper. At least that's kind of like the rough idea.
but I don't know how to swim. Anyways.
There's a 50% chance that your response is just going to be a random song at any moment in time. Something that's floating around in there. I like to imagine you have a Sherlock Mind Palace, but behind each cupboard door is just like something you wouldn't expect is there, and you just open it and it's just like, surprise.
It's a different record player. It's a different record player with a song playing at they're just somewhere in the middle of the song.
Yeah, but there's like a turntable, then you open another one and it's like a cassette player, and then there's another one and it's like there's just like a guy yodeling and screaming on a unicycle, you know.
Ricola.
Amazing. Sick. So I want to talk about my favorite 4.
Yes, we are.
But I'm going to do like this little weird intro thing where I'm probably going to like use this video for my video edit. So y'all are seeing the behind the scenes here. I'm going to pretend I'm about to record a YouTube video right now.
Brian is going to pretend he's David Attenborough or Linus Tech Talk, Linus Tech Tips.
Well, if I was that, I would have written down what I was going to say. All I have is bullet
or
points.
Or binging with Babish or something. So, anyways.
Amazing. All right, well, I don't know how I'm starting this. Let's see. I'll just go for it. Hi, I'm Brian. These are my favorite Godzilla movies. We've watched all of them. Here's my favorite 4. The first one is Godzilla 1954. This is the original Godzilla movie. It's the one that started it all. It is black and white. It's very gritty and grainy, and I wrote down super gnarly. It's kind of a gnarly film. It's, I think, very representative of post-war Japan. It came out like 9 years after we dropped more than one bomb on them. It's definitely historic. Not the movie itself being historic, but there are historic elements to the story of the film. It is somber and at times dark. Literally and thematically, like heavy. The music is at times scary, at times moody, times like very mournful, really unique. And the way they accomplished all it was really technically impressive. There was a lot of miniatures, a lot of cool explosion work. You can see them playing around with combining different elements that were shot separately and combined later. So you have big things and little things kind of looking like they all go together. It's really impressive. My second pick is Godzilla 2014. This is Legendary Pictures. This is the first movie in the MonsterVerse. This is also the first movie the first Godzilla movie. This is the first Godzilla movie that I ever saw. I saw it in the theater. I thought it was really cool. I didn't know anything about Godzilla then. Only knew a little bit more after watching the movie, and then learned a lot more through this podcast. This movie is clearly modern, very modern feel. It has well-known American actors in it. Is pretty serious throughout, more from like an action movie sense. I wouldn't say it's somber or anything like that, but it is. Yeah, it's serious. There are scientific elements, which are cool to see. There's a real cinematic realism to the visual language of the film. They do a great job of scale and showing the perspective of the humans in the film. There is a lot of really great human storytelling in the film. There's characters that we care about, and they're doing things that make sense. And the movie has a lot more about them than it is about Godzilla, but there is Godzilla and these other giant kaiju, which is just Japanese for monster in the film. There's also a sense of the government hiding what's really going on from the public. That's something that's unique about this film. I thought that was cool. It's visually and thematically mysterious. There's a lot of fog. You're kind of barely seeing something that's there. it's not, you're not seeing things super clearly a lot of the time. There's a lot of things that are kind of just shrouded in mystery visually, and I think that's cool. And I think that it's badass, and I like it, particularly when all those guys jump out of the plane and they're just dropping through the clouds. It's really awesome. Love it. Still one of my favorites. My third pick. This is Caleb's favorite Godzilla movie. It's called Shin Godzilla. Came out in, I believe, 2016. I'll correct that if I'm wrong. This movie is very original. It is not like any of the other Godzilla films, but it also is an homage to a lot of the other Godzilla films. But it stands out as being original in design, the way Godzilla looks and acts, and the things that happen in the film you don't see anywhere else. It's kind of creepy. There's like this sporadic classical oriented music. There isn't music throughout the whole film. It's like in these specific moments. It's a very interesting Godzilla design. Yeah, it's super creepy. It is just full of influences from throughout the Godzilla franchise, as well as Neon Genesis Evangelion, which we touched on in a Patreon episode, because the directors of this film were the ones that made that show. And so, this film is also, I've called it highly bureaucratic. It really focuses heavily on how does or doesn't the government respond to a disaster of this nature. And there's just a lot of conversations about what to do, how to do it. It's almost maybe a little bit of a parody on what inaction can look like. And it's a very scientific film. There's a whole posse of people who are using all of their skill sets to try and scientifically figure out the way to solve this problem of this monster that is wreaking havoc on their city. Clinically scientific. And it's original and it's creepy, and I said that already. It's a cool film. Last pick. My favorite, I'm going to say it right now, my favorite Godzilla film. Godzilla -1. Which came out in 2023, I believe. Yeah. This is my favorite Godzilla film because it is not just a great Godzilla film. It is a great film. Godzilla is in it, but it's not about Godzilla. It really isn't. It's emotionally moving, and that's because it's about human characters. And that's really why I like it. It's a human story. It explores concepts of guilt and PTSD. Our main character is a failed kamikaze pilot. And so in an honor-shame culture, he really carries that with him. And there's a whole journey for him of dealing with that. This movie is a really historic portrayal of post-World War II Japan. Down to the way it starts, the color grading, you see a lot of the browns and greens and the uniforms and manner of dress you would expect. And as the film progresses, you see a little bit more color come in, but they do a really good job of making it feel like it's something that was shot then. It is somber at the start for sure, and also throughout. But it's also optimistic and redemptive. And those are like really strong themes that progress throughout the film, which ultimately is a really good feeling. This movie is a really good example of storytelling on a budget. They didn't have a lot of money to work with. And in fact, the VFX team won an Oscar for what they were able to do with a pretty small budget for what they were able to accomplish. There's a lot of examples in the film that I noticed where you can see them using sounds off screen to inform the viewer something that's happening, things that save money but can still move the story along in an efficient and effective way. Yeah, it is a really great film, and Godzilla's in it. That's my top 4. So those 4 are that's my Mount Rushmore of Godzilla films. You're welcome. Thanks for watching.
Nice.
And that was me winging it off of bullet points.
Nice.
Just off the top of the dome. And then I rewatched all these, of course. Mm-hmm. So I have more notes for when I watched them, but those are kind of like, how do I describe this film to the uninitiated, to someone who's never seen this film? How do I describe it to someone to say, hey, here's why you could watch it or not watch it, you know?
Yeah.
And also all of that is like, I'm going to edit this video out of all of that, like I said, but the video that I'm going to make, we'll see how it turns out, but it's going to be a love letter to the franchise, really.
Sweet.
Having watched it all for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you got?
Yeah. So
I feel like I should say, as from a behind the scenes perspective, Caleb was trying to pick his favorite 4, and I think he changed his mind 20 times.
Yeah, up until
those are my words, not his. I'm saying this about Caleb from our behind the scenes conversations. So where did you land? Where have we landed? Favorite top 4, go.
So
and I'll shut up.
Well, okay. So here's the thing. Top 4, but it is not a like. What are the words? I really like the idea of like, what is the best Godzilla film? What is the first Godzilla film that I would show someone? Okay. Because it's not necessarily like 1954.
I feel like I'd love to answer those questions too, but I want to give you your time. So what is the best
Godzilla film? What is my favorite Godzilla? Or what is the first Godzilla film I would show someone? What is my favorite Godzilla film? And then, so that's 3, right? But we wanted 4. I ended up with 5 that I just kind of like, if I were going to have somebody who's like, okay, cool, whatever you say, Caleb, I will watch these movies. And that's going to give me the best idea of this franchise. It would be these 3 to 5 movies.
Nice. You want to give a rundown, or do you want to just dig into them?
4. I'll give you a rundown real quick. Okay. Just kind of like my same, like kind of similar to what you did, but you know, my own thing as well. So on that list, I'll go in that order: best, first, favorite. I think the best Godzilla movie, hands down ever, is Godzilla -1. It's an incredible film. I saw it 5 times in color, 3 times in black and white in theaters, and then I've watched it probably 4 more times since it has been released to streaming or whatever. Like you said, made on a shoestring budget, an incredible story. They won an Oscar for the visual effects. And I think it is finally, there's like a generation of people in behind the scenes at Toho that said, we're going to slow down, we're going to look around, we're going to take our time with this, because we have a history of trying to like bring a feeling to our films, and we kind of fall short every time because we don't take our time. That's rushed. We don't give it the money it wants or whatever, you know what I mean? And so like, you can just kind of tell there's so much care in this film, and it's the first film since Shin Godzilla, but it's the first, like, and that was just like you said, that was Anno's team, that was all his people. It wasn't really a Toho deal. This is the first proper Toho film since what, Final Wars, and yeah, they just did so great. It's just such a beautiful movie, and it feels a little bit like Miyazaki level of care for the human side of the story, and then there's that Godzilla stuff, and it's just so cool. My favorite Godzilla movie is, like you mentioned, and yours, Shin Godzilla, because it's just so like you said, it's very exact and scientific, there's not a lot of frills on it. There's a lot of just like what is going on in this movie, and I love that feeling. I love that, just like, one, to be occasionally like maybe grossed out or just like, who, and like, but just like, what, how did we, what, like, I kind of like feeling like I've been plopped into a story and I skipped the first 3 pages. Like the first 3 pages of the book were ripped out, and now I'm kind of picking up the pieces from where we are. I like that feeling, and this movie does a really great job of that. But also just like his atomic breath is purple and his jaw splits open, and and it starts as this, like, it's like you're starting of freaking like butane lighter or a welder or something, you know what I mean? Just such a great imaginative way to show that, like, what is very obviously something very hard for his body to do. And like, I think that's why I like that film, is because they like, Anno and his team went in on like the real like animal side of Godzilla, I think, and really went in on this, like, he's this mutated, constantly growing, constantly evolving, and yet in pain, like, thing. And also just the purple, like, dorsal fin atomic blast, dude, taking out like stealth bombers, insane. It still gives me shivers, but I like literally the first time I saw that, I pressed pause on the movie and like had to walk around the room with my hands on my head, just like, what did I just see? And so that's my favorite Godzilla movie. The first Godzilla movie I would show someone, it's interesting, is actually Godzilla King of the Monsters, the legendary one, because I think it does a really good job of like showing the scale, showing the intensity of the series, slightly how kind of weird it can be. It's a really good balance of, I think, of everything that the franchise has tried to do in terms of like multiple monsters. This isn't just we're discovering who this thing is, and it shows just how powerful he is. There's some really amazing kill shots in that movie. It's got weird little quirky comedy-ish moments, one-liners, whatever, that just kind of, just make it like, I think it's a good way to introduce somebody to the series. And you can kind of deconstruct where the insanity of that movie came from if you continue on to other Godzilla movies from there. And then my last two, my other, like, I guess, well, and so I don't know, it's interesting. I guess these last three I could shift around into the first slot. It could be rotating between King of the Monsters, Legendary, 1954, the original. It's like if somebody, like my daughter and my son Max, like Evie and Max, the first movie they will, when they are able to, I will make them sit through 1954, and you're just like, I don't care if they're 13 or like however long I have to wait. Like when I think they're ready, that'll be the first one we watch. But then there's also Mechagodzilla 1974, and I watched that one today. And that one is another, like, just like King of the Monsters, the legendary one. Like, if I wanted to show someone something from Toho that is not just, hey, how do we beat this giant radioactive lizard? Because if you break it down, like, they are really great films, but 1954, Godzilla -1, and Shin Godzilla are literally just, hey, we created this monster because of atomic testing or something. We as humans don't know what to do, and the whole movie is spent trying to find a solution to beating it, and then never beat it anyways. But something like Mechagodzilla and King of the Monsters, showing that scale, showing the power, showing the other kaiju, because I bet for a lot of people, especially with Mechagodzilla, like if you begin saying the word mecha and don't finish that word, I bet you for a lot of people even if they've never seen a movie, they would finish that word with Godzilla, right? Or if you say the word mecha, they might think of Mechagodzilla, or maybe the big thing in Aliens that Sigourney Weaver fights in or something, but like still sci-fi. I'm going to say Mechagodzilla for last. 1954, the OG, it's an amazing film, especially if you watch it after -1. And that's the order that I watched it in. I watched -1, 54, Shin, and then Mechagodzilla. And I don't know. It's a solid film. The human acting is actually okay. The story is actually kind of solid. There's the very real feeling struggle that Serizawa is having of I stumbled upon this because I was just trying to be I'm just scientifically researching oxygen and what we could do with it, and I found this way to destroy stuff, and the real struggle that Japan was having and the world was having with atomic energy at that time, and nuclear specific weaponry and stuff, right? Just this is insane. Should we be developing these things, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I think for the time, like you said, 9 years after the end of World War II and having 2 nuclear bombs dropped on them, and them in return starting to develop their own weaponry, and this it seems to just be a really good historical time capsule of how that side of the world felt about something that over here on this side of the world is seen as big, strong diplomacy, where we're cheeseburger bang bang America. So, and then the last one, Mechagodzilla, 1974. It's, again, like King of the Monsters, legendary. It's got a little bit of everything that the franchise, I think it's one of the times that Toho did really, really great of trying to tell a story that wasn't just how do we beat this random radioactive lizard that just popped up in Tokyo Bay. It's a original storyline. There's aliens and a second Godzilla and ancient Okinawan folklore and all this kind of stuff. It's a pretty good story, and it's a fun movie, and it doesn't struggle with them, I feel trying to shoehorn in some weird kid character, or it's just got this 70s James Bond plus a kaiju thing going on, and it's a really solid film. Again, another way, if somebody's familiar with Godzilla, doesn't necessarily need to see them try and defeat, like I said, we don't need to see the origin story, but somebody's interested in watching more movies, Mechagodzilla would definitely be on the list for me. So, I guess to give you an actual top 4, -1, Shin Godzilla, 1954, and Mechagodzilla 1974 would be the 4. So there you have it.
All right. Exciting. I was resisting the urge to chime in because I wanted to let you have your moment.
Yeah,
have your moment.
Well, we can go back through.
But yeah, we should go back and talk through them because I took some notes as I was rewatching them. I didn't take notes for Mechagodzilla today, but I did leave a new review on Letterboxd that just says explosions equals yes, because they went ham with the explosions, not even necessarily clearly shot explosions, but definitely the sound of explosions. Just a lot of things are blowing up throughout the film. They just really, really went hard on the pyro.
They got a giant pyro budget on that film.
Yeah, it was fun. So I should say Shin Godzilla and -1. I watched yesterday. I actually watched 3 movies yesterday. I watched 3 of them yesterday.
Nice.
And then I went to the theater to see Project Hail Mary today, and then watched Godzilla, and then watched the final episode of Peaky Blinders. I've really been looking at a TV in the last 2 days. Yeah, I wouldn't normally be doing that, but I wanted them all to be super fresh for this episode.
This is reminding me of the end of a game of Overwatch last night where my team got absolutely run over.
Really?
And the first message in the post-game chat was GG touch grass from one of my teammates.
Go outside, man. Oh my gosh. That's funny. Yeah, I say that because me and my brother who lives at my house, we usually hang out Sunday afternoons and watch stuff. And he had seen -1. He hasn't seen Shin Godzilla, so he watched both of those with me. So he saw Shin for the first time.
Sick.
Yeah, so that was fun. It was fun to see his reaction to some of those crazy moments, like where his jaw is just like, and then okay, that might as well happen. Crazy stuff. Yeah, I don't know if you want to go movie by movie, but I actually wrote down a lot of stuff for Shin, it looks like.
Okay. Well, let's start with Shin. There's no...
Yeah.
What's in the show is in the show.
I will say we did talk about Godzilla 2014 in the last episode a good bit, and I had a lot of notes on that. But I guess if we just went chronologically, I suppose we could.
Yeah, let's do
1954.
that. So
might as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of notes. I just I hadn't really thought about it until I rewatched it this time. The movie literally starts with a soundbite of the stomps and the roar. Like long before you ever see Godzilla. Like that's how they chose to start the movie. You just hear the stomps and you hear the roar. Yeah, I didn't write this down, but I was honestly, we had watched 2 of the movies and I was asking my brother if he wanted to stick around for a third, which I didn't think he would be interested. But so I was trying to describe 1954 to him like a little bit. And I know we talked about this the first time we saw it. It's probably in our first episode, but so much of the sound in that movie, particularly the roars and stuff, it just sounds like it got run through like an array of Marshall half stacks with the knobs too high. No, but it's like actually the sound is distorting, and I don't know if they like mic'd a speaker too close on purpose. I'm like really curious how they created some of those initial sounds. But yeah,
because they're very powerful because of the amount of like just distortion and like what is the word, saturation saturation in that kind of.
You think they're using a saturator plug
and the roars and stuff? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Also, my brother was like
the old one knob.
He's like, oh hey, I've heard like this roar before or something. I think it was Shin. Maybe it was Shin. I'm like, yeah, it's like that's like the OG, but it's like modified and stuff. And like they reuse that sound. It's like the Godzilla roar. And that was being brought up because famously 2014 doesn't really feature anything for the franchise other than Godzilla's in it. It like they didn't use the Godzilla roar. They did all original music. There's other references, but like they weren't reusing that stuff.
I mean, even the design is pretty
original,
different from
a new direction. Yeah. I think it looks great, but yeah, it wasn't until like King of the Monsters where they're like, okay, the actual like original Godzilla roar is in there. They got some musical cues and stuff that are reused. Some of the famous themes are in there, so I'm kind of glad they pivoted a little bit there. Although I don't know if they like really kept any other Godzilla themes in the rest of the MonsterVerse movies, but yeah. So I was watching 1954. There's a good bit where I was thinking, have you ever seen 1933 King Kong?
Once, but not like.
I recommend it. It is like, it's a very famous movie. In fact, some of the techniques, technically, in this movie, I don't know if you could say they were pioneered back then, but King Kong was like probably Hollywood's first foray into a giant character needing to be combined with like small things and make that scale look reasonable.
Yeah.
Like it kind of all goes back to that. And there's a lot of thematic elements that are similar. You know, King Kong's on this island. There's like legends about it. They like get on a boat and they like go there. There's natives on the island who coexist with King Kong and they have stories about it. And it's sort of like this legendary figure. They will sacrifice the fair maidens and leave her for, you know, to please the beast, things like that. There are some parallels. So I was just, as I was watching it, I was wondering, you know, how much that movie was an inspiration for some of where they went, because they're creating a new character called Godzilla. You know, this is an original movie at this point. It's the start of it, but curious how much of an inspiration that was.
That's not the movie. I know it's in black and white. Is that the one with the random squid in that, like the giant squid in that one scene? Maybe we watched. I feel like we watched it for this.
I don't know.
As like a side quest, or I watched it as a side quest into.
No squid. No.
I swear, isn't there one where like a giant squid attacks a town and it's like some kid is. That's one of these movies.
So the plot of 1933 King Kong, I'm going to give it to you right now. They learn there's a legend of this beast on island. A bunch of scientist guys and some guys with guns go to the island. They meet the natives. Some things ensue. The girl who's with their team gets captured by Godzilla. Godzilla falls in love with the woman. That's what I meant. And I don't remember how they knock him out. But they take him back to New York as like a tourist attraction, almost like in the days of the circus, where you could get people to pay money to come see the crazy thing. And you know, he gets away and he climbs Empire State Building, and planes shoot him down. That's basically the plot.
Yeah.
There's no
I've definitely seen that
things really.
And then it must be. It's got to be one of the
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, maybe something.
No, it's a Godzilla movie then, because it's something it's King Kong versus Godzilla. That's what it is. Duh.
A movie whose plot I've already forgotten.
Yeah.
So, I also noticed they were sort of proposing that Godzilla is like a missing evolutionary link that kind of got like reactivated or something. They're emphasizing the idea of an aquatic creature that is able to go on land. And that thematic imagery is repeated in Shin Godzilla very much, because they decided to literally have it start in like a lungfish state before having multiple stages of evolution.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed too that like there is even like they take the time. I'd never noticed this before. They take the time to talk about how he was like probably trapped down there, but still alive because of the sand that they found and the
radioactive sand,
the trilobites, and the trilobite, right? Like, and how the testing probably cracked something open or whatever, and that's what let him out. And it's not clear to me, I realized from watching, whether they're saying that the testing, like, like obviously he's feeding on the radiation and that's making him bigger or like giving him powers, but is the radiation what made him the size that he is, or was he always that size, right? And so then so that clicked in my head then how the team at Legendary got this idea of Godzilla being and like all of these kaiju being these like legendary old things that have been protectors of the earth before and have just been lost to the ages, or have been sleeping or whatever, or were trapped or something, right? And so I just kind of that kind of clicked for me while I watched 1954. And one of the things that I noticed that I don't know, maybe they obviously never mentioned it in the film, but maybe it was supposed to be a through line that never got picked up on, was so Serizawa shows what's-her-face, the oxygen destroyer in the lab in the fish tank, right, by like destroying the fish.
And she screams and stuff.
And then later in the film, they do they show that happening flashback style. Yeah. And then we're like right in Serizawa's lab with it's the girl again, and then the dude that's going to be like her fiance or whatever, and they're trying to convince Serizawa, to use the oxygen destroyer, and Serizawa and the dude get in a fight, and the camera is following them, and it stops on the fish tank again, and they're fighting behind the fish tank, but there are more fish in the fish tank. And are you supposed to think like, oh, Serizawa got more fish? Or did the effects of the oxygen destroyer not last?
Oh.
And somehow those fish are back, right? So, like, what is they never, and then it goes back, so then the fight is over or whatever, and like the dude comes out with blood on his face, and then, the movie moves on from there. But there is this like, they stop and focus on the fish tank in Serizawa's lab again. Yeah. Pretty crazy. I also noticed like that they did, like you mentioned, like it is a kind of like a historical, like they tried to be historically accurate with maybe like feelings about things or whatever. And so there's just like comments in the movie about like citizens are tired of evacuating. There's comments about their tuna supply being radioactive. Now there's Godzilla. There's even some lady that says like, I barely escaped Nagasaki
on a train.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and just, I think you made a mention of it too, but just how like the music and the soundscape itself are very, very sparse and very, very subtle. And like, especially the music is like sparse and unsettling and uncomplicated. It's just like there a lot of the times, unless it's the battle theme or unless there's something big happening. But in those moments of just like kind of quiet, or maybe we're about to build something that's just it's just unsettling and really, really like matches the whole entire tone of the film.
Yeah, the music really stands out as different than a lot of the stuff that came after, Yeah. Like the whole last third of the film is like in B flat minor consistently. It's like this sadness. It's just a sadness. Yeah. And literally the movie ends on like a minor chord. The end. Yeah. We can't believe that we had to do this, but we did it, and we're not glad that we did. The end. Like it's very somber. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's it. That's all I got on 54.
So chronologically, next would be Mechagodzilla, which I don't have any notes on, but we both watched it today.
Yeah, I think I said everything in mine about it already, but it's like, it's just, I don't know, it's so cool. It is. We could talk about my hair now because we're going to talk about this movie. So like, Mechagodzilla with the rainbow laser beams out of his eyes is like this exact shade. Yep. This took 9 hours, by the way.
Goodness.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though. I made a new friend. Which is what you would hope if you go to a stylist and hang out with them for 9 hours. You would hope that you vibe with each other.
They don't hate you.
That you don't hate each other the entire time.
And I imagine if you could shoot beams out of your eyes, that would be cool.
Yeah, and this is the color they would be. It's like I said, it's a good like maybe second Godzilla movie, or a like, you just want to show somebody like, hey, this is how fun and slightly silly the franchise can be, because but there's also seriousness in it. It's just, it's a good movie. I don't know. It's cool. And I love the battle between Mechagodzilla, and we'll call him Space Godzilla, Mechagodzilla and Godzilla, where Mecha G still has the like Godzilla suit on, so he looks like Godzilla. And like pieces of him are ripping off and slowly exposing the titanium.
At the start, they look basically the
same. And I made a comment to you before we started recording, but like I noticed in watching that the music, they like, because I remember your comment from the first time that we watched this, that Godzilla appears on screen and it's, new roar. Because it's this like screech, like thing instead of the roar, and you were like, new roar, and then we get like an atomic blast breath, but it's a yellow, and we were like, whoa, why is that? You were like, why is it yellow? Like
everything's upside down.
Yeah, they tricked you. They got you real good, which is like exactly what they wanted, right? And then they let you figure it out, kind of whatever. I remember watching this movie.
This guy literally said, he was like, hey, like, why is Godzilla fighting Anguirus? They're supposed to be friends.
Yeah. Yeah, as he's like ripping his mouth open and making him bleed and everything. I skipped that scene today when I watched it. I was like, I don't want to watch you beat up. I like Anguirus. He's cool. Just skipped right past it. And the spy thriller bit of it, and the like chasing, and the like fake statue of King Caesar because the people are trying to steal it, and there's the dude from Interpol that's like always around in the shadows, always smoking a cigarette with his sunglasses on and a trench coat. Like, it's just
it's very 74.
Yeah, dude, very 74 in some of the best ways possible. So next would be Shin Godzilla.
1954, technically, or 2014.
Oh yeah, that's on
2014
your list.
next. So we talked about this last time. So I'm not going to rehash those notes, but I still love it, and I love the Halo scene, the Halo drop.
The Halo drop.
One thing I was thinking about,
Wayne from
Letterkenny, dude. Show? Every time I see him, I'm like, this is weird, man. Like, I mean, he's a good actor. Like, he passes the character.
Don't come on the property.
There is like a very, very slight Canadian accent in there if you listen for it.
Yeah.
You can't turn it off.
It's amazing.
But it's a little off-putting after watching all of Letterkenny. One thing I noticed since watching it, because of watching the other three that are my top four, 1954, Shin, and -1 are essentially Godzilla's the only thing in it, and he's the antagonist, and the goal is for the humans to figure out how to defeat it. So 2014 is different in that he's not maybe as much. He's not really
origin story, but
he's more of an anti-hero, really. And ultimately, we have these Mutos. Like, a lot of the stories about the Mutos, and then Godzilla doesn't show up till later. So I was just realizing, like, in terms of like a kaiju fight, like kaiju fighting other kaiju, 2014 is the only one of my top four where we really see that, where they're like fighting each other a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's unique. The other ones are kind of all the same idea of, different starting points, but there's this monster and we got to defeat it. Clear antagonist. Whereas in 2014, he's almost made me. Words are hard. He's, I guess, more of a hero.
Yeah, well, but there is that, like, there is the moment of like,
with the Mutos.
Oh crap, we've got these Mutos, and oh crap, now we've got Godzilla, and it's not clear on, like, obviously he's going after them, but what's going to happen
Serizawa says, "Let them fight,"
kind of thing.
Let nature take its course.
And so,
but ultimately, what they're discussing the whole film is, how do we solve this problem? And his argument is, well, maybe Godzilla will solve a problem for us. Like he's nature's defense, or, you know, he's threatened by them. He'll show up to where they are because he has to be the alpha, kind of a idea.
Yeah.
So,
and there's that whole like arrogance of man thinking that nature is in his control, and not the other way around, or whatever.
Yeah.
Let them fight.
Do you want to talk about 2019? Because that's kind of a sequel.
Oh yeah, King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
I've said all I've said about it. Yeah, we talked about it last time. Ghidorah's head growing back is such a prime scene. Ghidorah's reveal in that movie is like the best Ghidorah reveal in the franchise for sure. Just slow, like we see the tail flutter up and then like wing, the head. It just there's a cut of that on TikTok where somebody put in Led Zeppelin over underneath that instead of whatever's there. Come from the land of the ice and snow.
Always rips.
Yeah, dude.
I could see it. Oh my gosh.
Stuff exploding and stuff. It's incredible. I think they even timed it with the first guitar, like, bow is a lightning strike. Like, it's so great.
What's popping into my head is Thor Ragnarok. That has to be one of the best uses of that song I've ever seen.
Real.
Dude. It's amazing. Real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd show that to someone as their first film, King of the Monsters.
I think I would. If it's like somebody who, and that's why these are kind of interchangeable. It's depending on the person. Somebody who's like maybe really super into Marvel and super into the idea of, you know, just super into action movies and like that kind of thing. Yeah. That's probably where I'd throw him in, because it's the most modern, like, rock'em sock'em big kaiju battle, like,
sure,
like, just like you get so many monsters in one movie, really great battles. You see Godzilla do crazy stuff. It's not just a like Discovery mood setter thing. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of off the wall for a first one for sure. But that's pretty on brand for me. So,
yeah. I do want to answer the same questions that you, or like the categories that you went with. I want to answer those at the end. I want to, yeah. I feel like I should do that also. It's kind of like if you're just randomly start recording and do a podcast with your buddy about Star Wars or something, and someone asks like, okay, what order do you think people should watch them in? You're gonna have all kinds of discussions about that. It's kind of a fun question to think about. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, Ghidorah does look great in that movie.
Yeah.
Shin Godzilla. I have a lot of notes on this one.
Cool.
There's no music in the film until Godzilla comes onto land for the first time.
Yeah.
I think
it's literally just like, it's just atmosphere, Foley, like radio comm stuff. Like, it's
the music is very sparing in this film. I was just noticing it this time around. There's like, they use it in specific moments. And there's also, I don't know, the music comes in unexpected places sometimes, where like almost in the middle of a moment, all of a sudden music just starts and it's like, oh, I'm okay. I wasn't expecting it, you know?
Yeah.
You were saying something, sorry.
I just, it is my favorite because, like, one, Godzilla is so weird and it gives you the kind of the heebie-jeebies, but just because of who's worked on it. And it's like the more I learn about the film and the more I learn about the people that worked on it, you know, Anno and Shinji, like, and all the stuff that they've done in the past that kind of like they poured into this film. It's just a really cool, like, nerd movie. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's one for the nerds for sure, and I love it. It's ridiculous, and it's also like it's this really weird like you get all the Godzilla bits right, and there is all the human side of it, but they're not trying to get you to care about any of the human characters. It is just that they're there, and you're watching them go through the motions of this thing that has been thrust on them. And it doesn't matter what their personality is or what their hubris is or anything really at all. It just is them trying to get through this red tape and figure it out. And it's such a, like, it's an interesting way to tell a story with humans in it. But that's also very Evangelion, you know, like the main character Shinji, just like, we opened the first episode with an angel attack and Shinji like being saved by what's her face and her taking him to Nerve, and then it's, you know, Shinji, get in the Eva and pilot this thing and save us. Like, we're just right into it. We don't really care who Shinji is right off the bat. We don't like who are these people, but they have to go and fight this thing, go get it done. It's a very interesting and different from anything else in the franchise. So just everything else in that movie, it's freaking weird. I love it.
Yeah, I wrote down a bunch of stuff actually that I noticed. I do have one criticism, and this is just a creative decision that they made to have a lot of scenes where the context for what the scene is and what's happening there, or who's talking and what we should know about them, they chose to do that through subtitles. So there's Japanese subtitles on the screen, and I don't like this, and I think I would also dislike it if I was Japanese.
Well, and they move really quick too. Like and that's the other part of it.
It's really quick. Like, so you watch it in English, right?
I've watched it in both, like many times. Yeah, I bounce back and forth.
So even in Japanese, all of the things they're putting on the screen are like, strategic defense meeting or things like that. They're like, so you have an idea of like what they're trying to do, and they're also putting things on like the name of the character, like this is the prime minister in charge.
It's like
of
live
whatever.
Lower thirds. It's like you're watching a TV show or something. A little bit of like, I think you now like. I
think it's distracting, and I think it's a lazy way of communicating that information to the audience. The secondary symptomatic result of that problem is that the English subtitles, when you are watching in Japanese, have to both contain the dialogue that is happening that you're hearing and also translate the subtitles that are on screen. So there's a good like fifth of the movie, I want to say, a good 20% of the movie where the subtitle block gets so tall that it's covering the bottom third of the frame. Like it's completely covering the screen. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no way to get around it, because if you're doing subtitles, you have to translate everything that is not English that you're hearing or seeing on screen. Like you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And there's no way to like choose where that's shown, unfortunately. So
it's a pain in the butt. It's kind of lazy, and it is just such his MO. It is such a Hideaki Anno thing. Like,
I don't like it.
It's all over Evangelion. It's one of the things that drives me nuts about his storytelling. We would need a whole podcast episode for the way that he handles Shinji in that whole story.
Gotcha. Yeah, I noticed it more because my brother has his own like processing issues when watching films, and so he said it was a lot even harder than usual for him to like. Yeah, in terms of like sensory processing,
keep up with what's going on
for him, there's a limit to even like how many movies he can watch in a certain period of time, just because it's like a lot to take in. He's like analyzing a lot.
Yeah.
Add to it, you're having to read subtitles while watching the movie. That's another level. And then Shin Godzilla is like subtitle overload, and so he was like, "That was really tough," and I'm like, "That's fair. I don't think that was
very fair.
Good." So.
It's almost like it's a underhanded way of making you watch it multiple times. Like we're gonna patch so much stuff in here that if you care, you're gonna have to come back and watch it again.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, so I was even a little split rewatching it of like, this is either supposed to be poking fun at bureaucracy, in which case I think it does succeed. I still don't think all the bureaucracy is interesting. That's the part of the movie that I struggle with. It's just like, it's most of the movie. It's just like a lot of people talking. And now this person has to give their opinion. And now this other person has to give their opinion. And it's just like, okay, like this could be happening, but do we need to see all of it? Like, there's more exciting things we could be putting on screen. You were given budget to make a Godzilla film. Like, why not 40% more creepy? That would be why not
40% more creepy and spend more time on the genetics and that whole like origami puzzle thing. That was such a cool idea.
Like more stages to the Godzilla and the city itself and problems that need to be solved or something. I don't know, but it's just so cool. The spiky tail, especially at the beginning, you can still see it's like kind of weird. It's got like some spikes to it, even in like the salamander stage or whatever they call it. You can see that. It's cool. I wrote down the bureaucrats have no playbook for this. That really could be the title of the movie. The bureaucrats do not have a playbook for this. That's most of the movie is just underlining that idea. There's just a lot of moments of sensible suggestion. Don't make jokes, you're crazy, and not 1 minute later, like, hey, maybe you're right. There's a lot of that. I assume there's a point that's supposed to be made there, but
apparently there are fan nicknames for the second, third, and fourth evolutions of Shin Godzilla.
I told my brother that this movie is more related to Pokemon than you think.
Yeah. The second one, which is the one that actually makes it on land, is Kamata-kun. And then the first time that he's like upright and they almost fight in Shinagawa, that one is just called Shinagawa-kun. And then the final form is Kamakura-san. So.
I still think of it as 3. There's technically 5, right? Or is it 4?
It's 4, yeah.
I think of it as...
Oh, no, 5 forms. 5 forms, you're right.
Think of it as water, lungfish, final form. Because even when he stands upright, his appearance doesn't really change. He just extends a bit.
It just gets bigger.
Well, he gets stronger, bigger, But when he leaves and then when he comes back at the end, he's totally different. Like, it's a clear, like... sort of a final form. Yeah. I wrote this down. Maybe you would be able to answer this, but they have what they're calling the GSDF, the Defense Forces they've put together to defeat Godzilla. Yeah. Do we think this is a reference to JSDF, which we saw a lot in the Millennium Era?
Yeah, I think so.
The result of that.
GSSDF is Godzilla Special Defense Force, and then JSSDF would be Japanese Special Defense Force. And then there was the JXSDF, Japanese Xenomorph Special Defense Force, which is what that hat that I have.
I'm more thinking about like the actual group and what they're doing. Like, is it supposed to be a reference, or is it just by default the acronym sounds similar? I don't know. I don't know. I
think it's supposed to be that they're a branch of the military, of the JSSDF. It would be the GSSDF.
Yeah, I wrote down the smooth jazz moment, which I probably commented on. It feels like such an anime move. Like, as soon as it kicks in, I'm like, I feel like I'm watching it. I feel like I'm watching an anime. You don't really see that in live action a whole lot. Just smooth jazz out of nowhere. It's a different kind of soundtrack for what you're seeing on screen than you're used to.
Yeah, well, and it's because it's such a stark contrast from, because it's the end of the first attack scene, because then he just turns around and heads straight back to the sea.
Cue the smooth jazz, baby.
Morning after morning commute, right back to it. We're just humming right along.
Very interesting.
So great.
I wrote down
trains out of Shinagawa will be delayed by 30 minutes this morning.
It's like a different movie all of a sudden. The professor's name, who did all the research, who they like discovered, he's not seen on screen. He's just referenced. His name is Goro Maki.
Yeah.
Do you catch that reference? There's been two Goro Makis in the franchise.
Two Goro Makis in the franchise, haven't there? Yeah.
Yes. The original is from Son of Godzilla. He was a reporter, main character. The second one is Return of Godzilla, 1984, also a reporter. So they reused the name.
Nice.
And this time he was like a biology professor or something. But
nice.
As soon as I saw that name, I was like,
wait a minute.
I don't know why I didn't notice it the first time around, but I've seen this name somewhere. So
yeah.
I also wrote down they really like timpani. Really like that.
That's
timpani.
One of my favorite. That is one of my favorite music moments in the franchise, and it's not even an original Godzilla moment or a Godzilla theme. It's from Evangelion.
Yeah.
The like battle prep. Bong bong dong dong.
And then they take that theme and they do it like 6 different ways. There's one that's like just guitar for some reason.
Yeah, dude. The electric guitar one's pretty sweet.
Like, we need new ways of doing this theme. I also wrote down the quote, "Man is more frightening than Godzilla," which I feel like was their thesis of the film. But so
it's pretty good. It's a pretty good line. If you had to pick between that line and "Let Them Fight,"
it's pretty good. Gotta say, it's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
What are you doing over there? You just lighting yourself
brightness. I am. Let's go to -1. There is a thing that I want to show you.
-1,
and maybe we can put in a clip. Because I don't remember talking about it before.
Should I open up the video player service?
I was just gonna like screen share it with you while we talk about it, but so -1 things I wrote down. I don't know if you have notes.
Okay.
I think I said this last time, but I was just noting that the specifically 1946 nuclear testing they're referencing imply that before that nuke, Godzilla is just a dinosaur. They seem to be implying that. So, literally just a dinosaur. 1945 and then 1946, there's nuclear testing, and it's implied that turns that dinosaur into Godzilla. Then he is like huge and stuff. I mean, dinosaurs are big too, right? But there's a big difference between the dinosaur we see in the beginning of the film and when we see Godzilla later. Like, he's huge.
Yes.
I also wrote down just the concept of using a recording of Godzilla's roar to attract it to a location. That's not an original idea. We've seen that in other places. Dragging a speaker out of the water is maybe not as scientific, but it's a thing that they did, and it seemed to work. So I thought that was cool. And then the third thing, so Godzilla -1. It's the end of the film. Spoiler alert. Whatever her name is, she survived. It's a beautiful moment. It's like the tying of the whole film. Look at the shot. Look at her neck.
Yeah.
How did I not notice that before?
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Did we not talk about that?
I think we did.
Did we? Like, I don't remember talking about that. That's the biggest tease for the next movie ever. Something is in her.
Yeah.
And is it going to be better than Alien 3 or 4? Part human, part Godzilla. Like, where are we going with this?
I don't know. It's...
and it seems like something that it seems like more something that would be pointing to where Shin Godzilla would go than where Godzilla -1 would go.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
So, I don't know if we're showing the clip or not, but in case we didn't, there's like a little almost like a moving tattoo on her neck, almost as if there's like a black substance moving underneath her skin you see in her neck.
And it kind of looks like a dorsal fin, one of the Godzilla dorsal
It's very interesting because she was hit with just shrapnel from Godzilla blast. You know, there could be some DNA from Godzilla that ended up inside of her. That raises more questions for all the other people who were hit by shrapnel, but it's what they chose to show.
Yeah. There is an anime / manga that came out last year, end of 2024, something like that.
Okay.
And it's called Kaiju number 8. And
what happened to
the
1 through
idea
7?
is that, well, spoiler alert, I'm not going to tell you.
That's not how spoiler alerts
the idea
work.
is, yeah, I know. But so there's, in a world where kaiju exist and they just randomly attack, there is a crew or a team, like a special military team that comes in and defeats them. And then there's a crew of people that come in and clean up all of that bodily material and whatever afterwards, after they defeat the kaiju. And the main character is on that cleanup crew, and he ends up, he ends up becoming a kaiju, and he's like a kaiju human hybrid thing, and can transform between the two states.
It's just a manga right now.
It's an anime. It's on Crunchyroll.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty great.
What's it called?
Yeah, Kaiju number 8.
Oh yeah, you said that.
And I think it's like 12 episodes, 13 episodes. Like, I watched it. I've seen it twice. I've watched it twice through because it was really great. They're doing another season of it, but it's a great little anime. But speaking of that whole kaiju human kind of hybrid thing, it's that just reminded me of that.
That's cool.
But yeah, dude, -1. Give me some more notes, because all we talked about there was just that bit at the end. I'm glad you saved that.
That's all I wrote down, because I was just enjoying the film, to be honest with you. Like, there's no contest. It's a great film.
No. Yep.
Objectively. Like, it could have won International Best Picture. I don't remember if it was nominated or what it was up against, but like, it's that category of it's a great film and it's from another country and people should know about it. So the categories you were listing at the beginning, what were the categories? You were like,
best, first, favorite.
This is the best film. I think we agree on that. I might actually also put this for first.
I could see that.
Simply because it's a great film, and I like the idea of, hey, just watch this great film. Also, Godzilla's in it, and you'll get an idea of like what Godzilla's like and maybe some things about him. If you've never seen Godzilla on screen or don't know what he looks like or all of that. It's the furthest removed from Godzilla lore. But that's why it could be a great starting point. or 2014.
Yeah,
simply
it's really hard
because
to put
I mean it has been the starting point by default for a lot of people. Why
especially
the
in
distributed
America.
film?
Especially in America. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest. Western films get distributed internationally more than vice versa.
Than the other way around.
For better
yeah,
or for worse.
Sure. Yeah.
That's not a comment on whether I think that's good or bad, but it's true.
No, it just is what it is.
Like
yeah.
American films are seen all around the world, for sure. Not always everywhere, but you know, they get distributed the most. So a lot of people have seen that film. But I wouldn't feel any regret about recommending -1 to anybody. You know?
Yeah.
So what were the other categories you had?
Favorite.
Oh, favorite. That's probably my favorite too. I guess I answered my questions. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, no, that's
just rewatching all of these kind of like. I mean, there are things I liked in all of the 4, right? But I watched -1. I didn't watch it last, but I actually just realized I watched -1 and then I watched 1954 right after it. I didn't even think about that. It is nice. It is a nice sequence.
It's a great,
especially if you watch -1 in black and white, and then go into 1954. It feels very seamless. It's pretty cool.
And then watch Shin in orthochromatic,
and also in black and white. Yeah, I've yet to see Shin in black and white. That could be cool.
It's fun.
Wow,
it's fun. Okay, so I think we can wrap this up. I have one small question that I think I already know my answer to, hands down.
Are we giving criteria to this?
No, just what's your favorite, other than Godzilla, what's your other favorite kaiju?
It's a good question.
Mine is Mothra, followed closely by Jet Jaguar, and then Mechagodzilla.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask if Mecha counts as a kaiju.
Yes.
Guess we could.
I know he's a robot, but like it's, you know, whatever.
If we're going on pop culture effects, it's got to be Mechagodzilla. People have heard of that without seeing a movie. I'd heard of that long before I ever saw it on screen. Maybe there's toys or something, you know, like.
Did we talk about Mechagodzilla being in Ready Player One?
I think you did.
Okay.
Just I'd have to look out for it.
He's just.
If I'm answering the question like favorite kaiju, I guess maybe the way I would quantify that is maybe like their abilities or the way they fight. Gigan has some cool moments.
Oh yeah,
Gigan's wild.
So cool.
But I might just say Mechagodzilla. Just because it's kind of cool and it can fly around.
So many cool like iterations too. Like there's
a lot of versions of it. Different iterations. Just purely on design, I think that Space Godzilla was really cool with like the humps on like the shoulders.
Yeah, the crystals and stuff.
Like, yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I agree. That's a cool design. Nice, nice. All right, I think, hey, 11:11, that means wrap it up. We did it.
Well, it's 10:11 here, so I don't believe it.
11:11 here first.
My improv is
I know, it's the worst. We would be, if you believed in yes and, we would be unstoppable. It would just never end.
All the time. What are you talking about? You've forgotten how much I yes and. All right, yeah, this is. Well, okay.
I was born into it, molded by it.
Number of times I quote that. I quote that all the time because the lights in my room I keep on dim 24/7, and I have blackout curtains, so it's like a cigar parlor in here, without the cigars,
minus the title.
Amazing. Yeah. So I think we mentioned last time. This is our finale episode for now. We know two things. We know the sequel to Godzilla -1, which is called Godzilla -0, has a name. It's coming out in November 6th, I believe, here in the U.S. And then don't know. Maybe you said March next year. The next MonsterVerse.
It's just March. Yep.
Yeah. The next MonsterVerse movie, which is called Godzilla X Kong Supernova, comes out. We'll for sure do episodes on those. Depending on our release schedule, you might be hearing this close to one of those films. We'll see how fast we crank out. Just between recording and releasing episodes, but we're planning on doing that. There's also potentially some side quest episodes we're going to be doing with other parties.
We won't say what
other
those forms of Godzilla, other forms of Godzilla, other consumption methods.
Happen. Yeah. But there's interest. And,
under promise, over deliver. So,
Yeah. And if we do them, you'll find out for sure that we're doing it.
Because they'll be here. Same bat time, same bat channel.
I gotta watch that show. I really do.
Yeah.
Dude, I started watching.
If you wanted to call in this week, you needed to be watching last week. What about SpongeBob?
I just started watching SpongeBob for the first time in my life.
Wow. Welcome.
I know.
Squidward likes Krabby Patties.
I know.
You can't eat all those Krabby Patties at once. Why? What's going to happen? Am I going to blow up? No, worse. They'll go straight to your thighs. And then you'll blow up.
I just opened a portal to Caleb's brain by saying that sentence, I think.
Spoiler alert.
Amazing. Yeah. I need to get the foghorn alarm sound on my phone very soon. It's amazing.
So great.
I won't use it, but I like to have the option.
Just get a little soundboard.
I love those
going.
References. Sick. Well, this, in more meanings than one, has been the one about Godzilla movies.
It sure has.
Now you know what my favorites are.
And now you know the rest.
And now I really,
of the story,
in every way possible, can honestly say that I am a Godzilla fan. No one can say that I'm being fake about that.
You walked away.
I walked the long road to that title.
You sure did.
I earned it.
Walked a lonely road. The only one that you've ever known.
It's been real.
I really have to pee. I think we're gonna go now. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Anything for the Patreons before you go wet your pants? The end. Thank you. Bye.